Mazda just revealed the 2026 Mazda 3, and the changes, or lack of them, divide buyers like never before. If you've been waiting for Mazda to fix the controversial decisions that have plagued this generation, well, it seems like the Japanese automaker is doubling down on every polarizing choice while eliminating options enthusiasts actually wanted. Here are 5 shocking changes in the 2026 Mazda 3 explained in detail. Number 5. Form over function. The Mazda 3 is arguably the best-looking compact hatchback on the market. That dramatic fastback roofline, those sculpted body panels, and the overall presence, it's stunning. But here's where things get controversial. Mazda is maintaining every single design element that sacrifices functionality for aesthetics, and they're not apologizing for it. Picture yourself backing out of a crowded parking lot. Your kids are arguing in the back seat, you're running late, and you need to make sure there's no shopping cart or pedestrian behind you. This is where the Mazda 3's design philosophy creates real-world problems. The rear visibility remains catastrophically bad, a 50% reduction in rearward vision compared to the previous generation. Those massive C-pillars create blind spots so severe that the 360-degree camera system isn't just a luxury feature, it's practically a necessity. Competitors like the Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla offer far superior visibility and more spacious rear seats. The Mazda 3's rear legroom measures just 35.1 inches, while the Civic offers 37.4 inches. The hatchback's cargo space sits at 20.1 cubic feet with seats up, and that sloping roofline reduces headroom to 36.5 inches in the rear. What makes this even more shocking for 2026 is the elimination of the Carbon Edition turbo trim. This configuration combined turbocharged performance with unique styling, priced at around $33,250, a price point that puts you in direct competition with entry-level luxury brands. But compromised practicality isn't the only sacrifice Mazda's making. The performance under that beautiful body is creating its own set of controversies. Number 4. The 2.5 Turbo's Performance Paradox. The turbocharged engine in the 2026 Mazda 3 is going to remain mechanically unchanged, delivering 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in just 5.6 seconds, which is genuinely quick for the segment. The problem isn't the acceleration figures, it's everything else about how this car delivers its performance. Think about what you expect when you see numbers like that. You're imagining that rush of adrenaline when you floor the accelerator, that feeling of being pressed back into your seat as the turbo spools up. But that's not what the Mazda 3 Turbo delivers. Many buyers are going to feel disappointed by the character of this powertrain. There's no spine-tingling exhaust note, no aggressive surge of power, and the automatic transmission shifts smoothly but without drama. Compare this to rivals like the Volkswagen Golf GTI, which offers 241 horsepower but delivers it with a playful character that makes every acceleration feel like an event. Or the Honda Civic Si, which packs just 200 horsepower but comes with a manual transmission and handling dynamics that make it one of the most engaging front-wheel drive cars available. The Mazda 3 Turbo is fast, but it's not particularly fun to drive fast. The real shock for 2026 is that Mazda isn't addressing any of these criticisms. No manual transmission option for the Turbo, no exhaust tuning to improve the sound. The Turbo variant exists in exactly the same form as before, except now it's only available in the most expensive trim level. Speaking of compromises, the chassis is dividing the crowd too. Number 3. Suspension controversy continues. One of the most hotly debated engineering decisions in the current generation Mazda 3 is carrying over unchanged into 2026, the torsion beam rear suspension. This represents a significant departure from the previous generation, which used a fully independent multi-link rear setup. Mazda's official explanation focuses on improved refinement and reduced road noise, but enthusiasts aren't buying it. The prevailing theory suggests this was a cost-cutting measure disguised with marketing language. Nearly every competitor in the segment uses independent rear suspension, and most luxury vehicles, which Mazda claims to rival, would never consider a torsion beam on a vehicle approaching $40,000. Imagine you're driving home on a road that hasn't been repaved in years. Potholes, expansion joints, cracks in the asphalt, the kind of surface that makes most cars feel unsettled. This is where the torsion beam's limitations become impossible to ignore. The torsion beam limits independent wheel movement, which means when one rear wheel hits a bump, the entire rear axle reacts. This creates a bouncy, less composed feeling. The ride quality suffers on rough roads, with impacts transmitting through the chassis more harshly than with a multi-link setup. What makes this shocking for 2026 is the complete absence of evolution. Mazda isn't offering an upgraded suspension option for enthusiasts. They're sticking with the torsion beam across the entire lineup. But the suspension isn't the only area where Mazda's refusing to budge. Wait until you see how they're handling the technology inside the cabin. Number 2. Infotainment interface. Mazda's rotary controller infotainment system is going to remain one of the most polarizing features of the 2026 Mazda 3. The base 8.8-inch screen and the upgraded 10.25-inch display both resist touch input for native Mazda functions, controlled exclusively via a rotary dial. Mazda's justification revolves around safety, claiming that reaching for touchscreens causes lane drift. Here's where the controversy explodes. The system does allow touch input when using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on upper trims, but these smartphone interfaces were designed from the ground up for touch interaction. Grid layouts, horizontal scrolling, pinch to zoom maps. All of these become awkward when forced through a rotary dial. You're driving to an unfamiliar address and need to type a destination. With a touchscreen, this takes seconds. But with Mazda's rotary controller, you're spinning a dial through every letter of the alphabet, clicking to select each character one at a time. What should take 5 seconds now takes 30. Manipulating a dial through interfaces explicitly designed for touch requires more attention and longer eyes-off road time than simply touching the screen. The irony is brutal. Mazda implemented a safety feature that becomes less safe when used with the connectivity features modern buyers demand. What amplifies the frustration is Mazda's inconsistent application of their own philosophy. Newer models like the CX-5 and CX-90 received limited touchscreen functionality for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the Mazda 3 uses a different physical screen and hasn't received this update. For 2026, absolutely nothing changes. No expanded touchscreen functionality, no improved rotary dial response speed. Mazda is forcing their ideology onto smartphone interfaces designed against it. But the infotainment frustrations pale in comparison to the biggest shock of all: what Mazda is charging for a vehicle with all these compromises. Number 1. Premium pricing and feature gaps. The most shocking aspect of the 2026 Mazda 3 is how Mazda is positioning the vehicle in near-luxury territory while simultaneously missing features you'd expect at these price points. The top-tier Turbo Premium Plus hatchback starts at $39,125 before destination. Add premium paint, and you're staring at a compact hatchback costing $40,000, more expensive than entry-level Audi A3, BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe, and Mercedes-Benz CLA configuration. But here's the problem. When you're charging luxury prices, buyers expect luxury features. The torsion beam rear suspension we just discussed, that's not found on any legitimate luxury vehicle. Audi, BMW, and Mercedes all use fully independent rear suspension. Mazda is asking you to pay luxury money for mainstream engineering. Consider what happens when your passenger adjusts their seat. In most vehicles at this price point, they press a button and the power seat moves effortlessly. But in the Mazda 3, even at $40,000, there's no powered passenger seat. Your passenger is manually cranking a lever. Rear seat passengers get no dedicated HVAC vents or USB charging ports. Your kids in the back on a hot summer day, they're breathing the same air circulating from the front. The 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty falls short of coverages many luxury brands provide, and it's laughable compared to Hyundai and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection. The subscription model for remote features adds insult to injury. After a 1-year trial, remote engine start and vehicle status monitoring require a $10 monthly subscription. There is no key fob remote start option. Competitors like Nissan include key fob remote start on vehicles costing $18,000. The 2026 Mazda 3 stands as a testament to Mazda's unwavering commitment to a controversial philosophy, prioritizing design purity over practical considerations that most buyers actually care about. Catastrophic rear visibility remains unaddressed. The torsion beam suspension undermines the brand's performance heritage. Dial-controlled infotainment frustrates smartphone users, and nearly $40,000 buys you a vehicle missing basic features like powered passenger seats. The elimination of the carbon turbo trim and the complete absence of a hybrid option reveal a company that's either confidently marching to its own drummer or stubbornly ignoring market realities. For true believers who value the Mazda 3's steering feel and premium materials above all else, this represents principled conviction. But for everyone else, 7 years without meaningful updates isn't timeless design. It's stagnation dressed up as philosophy. With all these things in mind, the best advice we can give you is to check out more practical options on the market. If you are a big Mazda fan, you definitely want to check out our video about the new 2026 CX-5 that explains the differences between the new and the old model. Compared to the Mazda 3, it stands out with more modern tech features, superior practicality, and a proper rear suspension setup.